Hello friends, welcome to Political. We're the conservative political channel examining the latest news and talking points on the US election. And today we're going to be talking about Sidney Powell. Now, this is perhaps the biggest topic in the media right now. President Trump is currently embroiled in a huge number of legal cases disputing what appears to be a large-scale electoral fraud. But last night, the Trump team released a statement clarifying that Sidney Powell, a lawyer that many believe to be on the Trump legal team, was not in fact working for Donald Trump, and that she is acting independently of him. No other context was given, and this has prompted a lot of speculation. If you ask the Liberals, this is evidence of Trump's legal team falling apart and his legal cases falling apart. But what we're going to be doing today is explain to you just why this statement was put out and speculating on the position a bit and why this is more innocent than it seems. So again, a big welcome to you if it's your first time watching our channel, and a big welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Please do subscribe if you haven't done so already, and click the bell so that you get informed whenever we put out a video. Please do remember to drop a like and tell us your opinion in the comment section down below. I'd also just like to take the opportunity to let you know we've launched a regular live stream. We had our first stream last night, and we're going to be doing the live stream every week going forward. We're going to put a bit of information about that in the comment section too. Maybe if you could just give us a bit of feedback on that too, that'd be really helpful to all of us. But with no further ado, Ian, tell us what is happening to Sidney Powell.
Yeah, so as you say, actually, it's all very much speculation because I didn't exactly clarify, but we have a statement from Sidney Powell herself, and I kind of stumbled across this article from the Conservative Treehouse, which I think is a good take on the situation. So believe what you will, but here's what they say. When it was clear that candidate Donald Trump will win the Republican presidential nomination in April 2016, the RNC, particularly Reince Priebus, salivated at getting their hands on the Trump campaign donor files. Politics is a big business. Historically, the GOP was dependent on big major donors on Wall Street for support, but the Trump small donor army shattered all Republican records for contributions and showed a completely new grassroots donor base. Tens of millions of middle-class Americans fueled the MAGA movement and stunned the Republican establishment. As an outcome of that massive data file and the contractual agreements to share with the Republican National Committee, the RNC became flush with money and transmitted the file to other GOP members in down-ballot races. Essentially, Trump represented access to millions of previously hidden Americans. That's why your emails and phones blew up in 2020 with pleas for contributions. Within the business part of the GOP, there are massive territorial fights amid those who live on the donations from within political campaigns. The Trump MAGA file is being exploited like a bloody carcass dropped into a pool of piranha. Once you know how the business end works, then a lot of this other stuff makes sense, including this. And this is obviously the legal statement that was made. Sidney Powell is practicing law on her own. She is not a member of the Trump legal team. She is also not a lawyer for the president in his personal capacity. This is about who is getting paid by the campaign and RNC. The Trump campaign isn't going to reimburse Powell for any expenses, nor is she allowed to make offers to financial payment from the GOP or Trump campaign. The vultures assembling and protecting their paychecks do not want Powell getting paid, nor do they want any financial liability. That's all this statement is. The statement by the Trump campaign has nothing to do with Trump. It is directly related to those interests who derive financial benefit from the Trump campaign. The same network of vultures exists on the DN side of the equation, and they exploit Bernie Sanders' donor files. Ronna McDaniel has enjoyed a high life of cocktail parties and lavish expenditures as a result of her position and control over the Trump data files. So to have a host of other entities and organizations that have been sending you text messages for money, that's just how they roll. This announcement is all about money, nothing more. And just very quickly as well, this is a statement from Sidney Powell. She's suspended out of Twitter currently, which is why she has to go through Michael Flynn Jr. on Parler. But she said, I agree with the Trump campaign statement that I'm not part of the campaign's legal team. I never signed a retainer agreement or sent President or the campaign a bill for my expenses or fees. My intent has always been to expose all the fraud I could find and let the chips fall where they may lie, whether it be upon the Republicans or Democrats. The evidence I'm compiling is overwhelming that this software tool was used to shift millions of votes from Trump and other Republican candidates to Biden and other Democratic candidates. We are proceeding to prepare our lawsuit and plan to file it this week. It will be epic. We will not allow this great republic to be stolen by communists from without and within, or our votes altered or manipulated by foreign actors in Hong Kong, Iran, Venezuela, Serbia, for example. We have neither regard for human life nor the people who are the engine of this exceptional country. And then she ends it with Kraken on steroids. Release the Kraken. So I don't know. I think this basically I think it makes sense. I think is probably the best take I've seen on this, that ultimately it comes down to money. And that's kind of the great equalizer, isn't it? In all of politics, no matter who you support, when it comes down to money, the scrambling happens and the people position themselves for the biggest paycheck.
Yeah, and of course, we have to remember that the swamp exists in the Republican Party as well. Okay, Trump didn't completely the Republican Party isn't completely absolved of its sins at the moment. There are still figures high up in there that are exclusively out for themselves and their special interests. And that's just a fact of life. And when you're talking about funding, allocations of money, donations, and things like that, there is a hell of a lot of built-in oversight. There's a hell of a lot of built-in checks, balances within those parties. Okay, so if you're Sidney Powell right now, you actually probably can do a lot more with your if it's clarified that you're working independently of Trump, because not only are you therefore ineligible to receive conditional funding from the Republican Party that perhaps is tied to special interests or things like that, you also are allowed to receive donations in a far more simple fashion than the Trump team. You're allowed to receive donations that aren't cast as political campaigning and so forth. You're allowed to fight this case from a purely legal perspective without any outside interest pressuring you. So in a way, I'm looking at it as if Sidney Powell has been set free to push forward. She's been very particularly active in Georgia, hasn't she? She's been very particularly active on the Dominion voting machines. So when you talk about releasing the Kraken on steroids, one person can do it, and it's Sidney Powell right now.
Right. And that's your very personal insight onto the situation as someone that has obviously worked and dabbled with this issue in politics before. I'm sure you've been scrambling for your paycheck at times within the European Union. So, yeah, unless you've got something else to add, I think, that really kind of wraps it up, really. It's just a short video, but I think wanted to... it was hard to find this information. So, and even the statement from Sidney Powell. So, just wanted to kind of present that to you guys and let you know exactly what's going on if you were kind of wondering and scratching your head at exactly what's happening. And yeah, so please, as he said, do consider subscribing if you do enjoy the content. And as always, thank you for watching.